Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream today, Sunday, March 7th, 2021. How are you guys doing today? It is another beautiful day here in Chicago. We've just been having a pretty nice spring so far. I mean, it's actually kind of felt like spring. Our temperatures are on the cold side, but it's been like a gentle, gradual, consistent increase in temperatures, lengthening of days. It's not at all like springs usually are in Chicago. Spring in Chicago is usually like deep, deep, deep winter, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's like summertime. There's like no transition, but we're getting a little bit of a transition this year, so I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. Before I say hi to everyone who's here live, I do want to say hi to everyone here, but listening on the podcast version, on the audio only. Welcome. Hopefully you're having a good run or having a good commute home from work. And everyone watching on YouTube after the fact, but not live, welcome to you guys as well. Today, I feel like the big news for me today, two kind of things. Well, a couple of things. But the big news for me today is I trimmed the mustache a little bit. I was getting really tired of it. I didn't want to get rid of it. I don't know that I can get rid of it. But I went with the same like size like clipper guard that I use everywhere else on my face on the mustache area. And so like it's a lot more cleaned up than it's been. But I also feel like I maybe went too far. So I'm not sure how I feel, but it'll grow back. So plenty of time for it to grow back. So there. Martha says, is next week in the beginning of daylight savings? Yes, it is. And it's going to screw up everything. Right now it's like springy and balmy and nice. But like next week, it's gonna feel like winter again. And Martha's saying that I'm out of focus or pixelated. I look good to me, but you know what? It could be. It just could be that it's showing that my connection is unstable on Wi-Fi. So that might be it. I might just be. I think what's probably happening is that I'm hitting the Wi-Fi really, really hard right now at home. So yeah, Nifty Niche says low question potato vision. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm currently part of it is I'm currently uploading the video right now for today. It took a lot longer than I was expecting. I ended up sleeping in a little bit. I was a little tired, so I just got a late start on it, and it took longer than I thought it would to put together the video. So it's actually uploading now. It's a pretty big video, but I just paused it. So hopefully that will help it, guys. Yeah, it looks like my connection, I'm seeing some different kind of like toggles and stuff. They're improving. So if you guys are still having problems, try giving it a refresh. I think that should probably do it. All right. So thanks, guys, for letting me know. Greg says, love the mustache trim, more aerodynamic. Well, for the most part, the mustache is behind a mask. So like that's where, so it's not more aerodynamic. I think it's either way. It's neither way aerodynamic. But, you know, the mustache being a little bit thicker got gross very quick underneath the mask. And so like that's part of it too. But I was already like one of the other things was like I had a really long gray mustache hair that was kind of creeping me out. So I was like, I got to do something about this. So I had a couple of things that I need to just kind of like take care of. So that's why I thought I'd mix it up, try going with the extra trim today. All right. Yep. Kevin Scott says there we go. HD Kofuzi. All right. So yeah, we'll chill on that. We'll let the upload will have to wait because we got live stream going on. All right. Sam Stevens says, would you recommend the Infinity React ones? Yeah, I mean, I prefer the Epic React 1 or 2 better than the Infinity React 1, but the Infinity React 1 does have guide rails. So someone that needs a little bit of help with stability, that could be useful. And it's a wider platform that you land on. So that's another thing that I think can be helpful too for people. If you have some slight stability issues, it's going to be a little bit more stable of a platform. But in terms of a fun shoe to run in, I do like the Epic React more than that. And I really wish that they would bring that shoe back. I don't think they're going to though. All right. Orm McGowan's here. It's good to see you again. Stuart Coates says, hey, Co, what's up? What's going on? Got the Kung Fu Panda there for your picture, Stuart. HB wants to know, what's your favorite Brooks shoe to date? It's going to be the Hyperion Tempo. Second favorite would probably be the Catamount. Third favorite is the Hyperion Elite 2. So that's kind of how I would rank them. Mr. Y says, am I the only one that doesn't like thoroughly locked shoes? It hurts even if they are a little bit tight. I think that's why a lot of tongues are puffy. I always complain that like everything's puffy and unnecessary and it just makes things hot. But I know that there are some people that like the top of their feet, the bones are very kind of like, how you could see the bones on the top of your foot. This is obviously not my foot, but you can't see my foot. Can be very sensitive. So I think that's something that does happen to a lot of people, Mr. Y. So you're not the only one. It's not me, but yeah. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people that happens to. All right. Kai Smithley says, finally made a live stream. Let's go. What's going on, Kai? How are you doing today? Yeah. So there's no structure for today. If anyone here is new, no structure for today. If you have a question, feel free to drop it into the chat. We're just kind of hanging out. The vibe that I'm going for on this is, kind of like that conversation you might have with the running group, like after the run, like in the couple of minutes before everyone kind of like parts ways, cool down, stretching, that kind of thing. Maybe getting some water, that conversation. That's kind of what we're going for here. I've been listening to a book. Oh, you know what? I just realized I don't know what the book is called. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I listened to an audiobook about running, and it's been really good. The author sounds like the Welsh runner. It's crazy. It's to the point where I'm like, I don't know what the Welsh runner does for a living. Is he an audiobook narrator? But the book I'm reading is Out of Thin Air, and it's about a guy who's he's Scottish, I believe, and he's a very fast runner in his own right. But he is also a writer, and so he wants to go and write and kind of study from a anthropological perspective, like Ethiopian runners. And so it's kind of like a running with the Kenyans type of story. And in that book, there was a part where they talk about how like they always do like a cool down afterwards. And the coach goes through and like spends a lot of time with both the group and with people individually as they're cooling down, as they're stretching. Like it's a really important part of not only like, biomechanically, it's important, but it's also a big part of like their team and also kind of like just the way that they approach running in general. So I was thinking about kind of like the vibe from the live stream today. Not to say that this live stream is necessarily going to make you a better runner, but I guess we can't prove that it won't make you a better runner. So welcome to everybody that's here. But so far, that book is really good. I'm really enjoying it. And here's where like my ability to really peg accents may fall short. I believe that the author is not the narrator of this audiobook. And the author keeps talking about how he was like on the Scottish national team for some events at some point, or ran in like some Scottish national championship in cross country. But I don't think that the accent is Scottish. Maybe I'm mixing that. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But so that's kind of throwing me for a loop. But otherwise, I've been really enjoying the book so far. I think I'm maybe like a third of the way through it. That's good. Has anyone else read that one yet? He says, "Wow, who's the new host?" Yeah. I was looking back at some footage for the video that I'm no longer uploading now, but for the video that I'm uploading for today, I did pull in a couple of old, or I went back to the archives to like see if I might want to use a couple of old clips from some other shoes. And I saw myself in a variety of stages of mustache growth. And I was like, that's another reason why I was like, I think I need to switch it up, because I didn't like love the way that the mustache looked now, but like looking back, I was like, I liked it better before. So I'm going to try and figure out what's the ideal length. And so for this Out of Thin Air book, the author is, let's see, how do I find the author? Oh, Michael Crawley, Crawley, Crawley. It's out of Thin Air. Here it is. Let's see. Yeah, Out of Thin Air. Michael Crawley. That's the book that I've been reading. So yeah, I'm on chapter 7. How many chapters are there? Yeah, 16 chapters. So I'm like a third of the way through. Adam Steves says, Crawley's been on a couple of podcasts in the past few weeks. He doesn't have a particularly extreme Scottish accent. Oh, okay. I don't. Sometimes it's really hard on Audible to get information about like the author and stuff from Audible. So I don't know who the narrator or like the reader is. All right, Egan Lee says, any tips on how to find the right running shoes for me? Yeah, I have some tips. If you don't know, like if you're not really sure like what kind of shoe you want, like you don't know really where to start, I would say like try to go to a running store and have them get you fitted, and then tell them you're just looking for kind of like a daily trainer, something that you can do all of the different kinds of runs in, something that pretty durable as well. So those are the kinds of shoes that I would look at first, and then based on how you do with those, hopefully they'll put you in a neutral shoe, and a daily trainer, and then based on what you do or don't like, then you can kind of figure out where to go from there. But my general approach is, if someone is just new to the sport or new to running shoes, find a neutral daily trainer, and then based on what you do or don't like, go from there. Kevin Scott says, the narrator is Raj Ghatak, not the Welsh runner. Okay, so we have confirmation that's not the Welsh runner, but the accent is very similar. And so like as I'm running and listening to this book, I feel like the Welsh runner is talking to me. Yeah, so it's like kind of throwing me off a little bit, because I'm used to, I've heard the voice so many times, and like the voice sounds similar. And so I'm like, and the thing is, I think the paces for the Welsh runner and for the author, Michael Crawley, are about similar, because he was saying that like, he's about a 30-minute 10K guy. And I think that's about where the Welsh runner is too. So I'm like, it's totally him. It's got to be him. I'm like, the other thing I was thinking is, oh, wait, I know like Wales and Scotland are not the same place. That much I do know, but I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what the Welsh runner does for a living. Is he a writer? So that's like the other thing that I've been doing. So it's just been, that's where my head's been at. I've been a little bit confused. All right. Or McGowan says, do you think the Infinity React actually helps decrease injury? I don't know which to pick out of the Infinity React 1 and the 1080 version 10. Which do you prefer and which is more durable? What's the main difference? Do I think the Infinity React actually helps decrease injury? No. Which do I prefer of the Infinity React 1 and the 1080 V10? I prefer the 1080 V10. Which one is more durable? I would say the Infinity React 1. And what's the main difference? The main difference, I would say, is that the Infinity React 1 seems a little bit less bouncy and a little bit heavier to me of a shoe than the 1080 V10. The 1080 V10 bounces a little bit more and also rolls a little bit more at the same time. I don't know if it's just my foot strike is funny. And so like the Infinity React, I felt like I felt it trying to guide me from time to time. And I don't really feel that in the 1080 version 10. So those are the main differences. Is the Infinity React 1, I felt like a nudging hand with it. All right. Chat A said, regarding your Instagram post on your Stride Power, did you notice the drop off coincided with starting the Daniels plan? Since starting Daniels half marathon, my power keeps dropping. Wondering if it's a prescribed mix. No, so yesterday, I posted, I had a really good speed workout yesterday, and it was very different. So it was like a 3-mile threshold. So basically and then some 200-meter repeats. So basically like a 5K time trial and then another couple of 200s. And after that, I went based off of feel and heart rate and not my power number, which I've been going off my power number for a while. And so to establish, intensities for workouts. And I think by doing that, what I ended up doing was running way above what my Stride would have prescribed for a threshold effort for 20 minutes straight. And so that totally threw off the Stride, and it was like, whoa, what are you doing? And so it bumped up what it recalibrated my critical power, or my what it thought my threshold level of effort should be. And so I think part of it is not necessarily, it can be, the Jack Daniels plan does give a different kind of mix of workouts than what Stride tends to like. Depending on how you do the Jack Daniels plan, the way I kind of chopped it up, I think that I incidentally ended up picking stuff that, or eliminating stuff that the Stride would have wanted to see more of, specifically like a 5K time trial and hill sprints. So those are the things that I don't have. And having done now like basically a 5K time trial, I think now the stride is like better, like understanding what my level of fitness is, and then can give me better guidance, I think. But it's been low since for several months. So even a couple of months before, so basically it started to drop when my knee started hurting. So I reduced intensity, I reduced mileage, and the comeback was slow and gradual. And so even when I started introducing more, I'll just basically just shorter threshold work, but never quite 20 minutes, maybe 10-minute bursts were the longest that I would do. Or I might do 20 minutes at marathon pace, but not 20 minutes at threshold or 5K pace. That was telling Stride, it made Stride think, oh, that marathon pace must be his threshold. And so it was like giving me this lower number. And so because I wasn't really training for anything, I was just doing workouts for fun, and without a lot of structure, it was just like, this guy's really tapering off. I don't know what's going on. This guy will keep lowering that critical power number. So it's the Jack Daniels plan that actually reset things kind of more correctly, if that makes sense. All right, Bert says, Kofuzi, I am normally modest to ask for a cowboy, but I ran a 128 half marathon PR today. Awesome. Fantastic. That is crazy. Great work, Bert. Here we go. Good job. Awesome work on the half marathon. Very cool. How are you feeling? That's a speedy half marathon there. Cool. Let's see. And we got some follow-up from Bert. He's saying that this April marathon, he wants to go from a 318 to 310. Sub 3 is for next year. Nice. I like the progression there. Very cool. And he says, I need to gain more strength and drop another 5K to go sub 3. That will be for September 2021 or March 2022. Awesome. Very cool. Well, I think you're on the right track, Bert. Excellent. Carl J says, or wants to know, is there any reason why one would include a stability shoe in their rotation? That's a good question. I don't know. In my mind, for me, no. If you're a neutral runner, then you don't really need it. A lot of shoes seem to have like guide rail kind of things in there rather than medial posting, rather than like extra like dense spots in the midsole foam. They have guide rail, so that way your ankles don't like, if this is the midsole and this is your ankle, a lot of times what's happening, and the reason why they might put extra like firmness on this side is because maybe your ankle moves over too far, and so then it's squishing the foam too much. And so to counteract the squishing too much, they make it really dense, and so that way your ankle just won't move, but instead it actually hits something really hard. So that's why I don't like traditional stability shoes. But with guide rails, the idea is that like everything's kind of like your foot is in more of like a channel. So even if your ankle slides over, it won't go anywhere or it won't move as much. So you can still maintain a soft foam to absorb impact, but you're not letting that ankle move more than it should. Some people, like that. I don't really notice when there's guide rails in the shoe. They're just kind of there sometimes, and I kind of sometimes notice them, but they're not like intrusive, like a traditional stability shoe might be for me. So that's kind of like the more modern trend, and I don't think there's a problem with that. And for me as a neutral runner, I don't want any stability shoes in my rotation. But here's where I think that it might make sense. If on your recovery days, you tend to notice that your form is really sloppy when you're running slow and you're just recovering and kind of just shuffling along, then that might be a good time to have that stability shoe. So that way you're not doing that. And so that way you're not like putting extra strain on your ankles on your recovery days. So like you're not like inducing an injury while you're recovering from workouts. You know what I mean? So like that could be a reason for it. But the other thing to then think about is, then maybe we need to work on your recovery days on forms and drills to make sure that, when you're running slower, you're not running sloppy. So that's just like another thing, like maybe an awareness thing might be all you need. But here's the only other thing that I'll I guess play devil's advocate with it, is that I've noticed that if you look at kind of a lot of Nike athletes, and there seems to have been some sort of like guidance from corporate, let's say, to be more available on social media and stuff. And so you're seeing more of their like kind of behind the scenes, their every days, not just their workouts, but some of their recovery days and stuff too. Or like go through. I feel like everyone at every Nike sponsored athlete gets like a list of like, here's a couple of potential Instagram posts that you can do. Go through your favorite shoes and why you would use them. And so I've been seeing a lot of people talking about like my favorite like daily trainer is like the Nike Structure. I've been running in it for years. And it seems to be a very, very popular shoe amongst Nike pros. And I can't figure out why. They have beautiful form. They have all the coaching in the world. They have all like the strength, mobility, kind of like training and coaching available to them. And yet like they're still running in the Structures. Why? I can't figure that out. It's a question that I'll definitely ask. Like, I know Gwen Jorgensen I don't know if she's ever said it, but I see her in the Structures all the time. I want to say it was Sage Watson just said that. Maybe Sage Watson, or maybe it was Steeple Squiggs. Maybe I'm trying to remember who I just recently hear say like, I love the Structures. So there's like a couple of people I've heard it from. So that's kind of like, I don't know. Maybe they know something that I don't, or maybe they just tend to like that shoe for, I don't know what reason. So that's the only thing that I would say, like, maybe there is a reason. All right. Sorry, that was a long ramble. Jeff Elliott says, the track meet last night was great. Cool to see Gwen Jorgensen out there hitting the Olympic standard. Yeah, I was nervous at first. I was watching her run, and she didn't, like, both her and Molly Huddle were both at the back of the pack at the beginning. Molly Huddle didn't finish, right? And then, but then, like, she, like, was leading kind of like the chase pack after a while. And so it's good because I know like, she didn't have a great result, I think at that same place a couple of weeks prior. And it was kind of like a soul searching moment, and so it's good to see her not get the win. It would have been great to see her get the win. But to see her like, hit like an objectively good standard. I mean, I think she came in like 5th, right? So it's like weird to hit like, was it the Olympic standard or the trials standard? I don't know. Either way, she hit a big milestone, but it's weird to see her hit like a big milestone that would like make, most pros elated, and to still come in like 5th in a race and be like, meh, all right, another day, not too bad, so, but good to see her get like somewhat of a W. Ben Y says, do you think that Nike pushed the Structures to the athletes somehow? I don't think so, because like, I feel like last year they almost didn't release one. And then like way late last year, a new Structure came out, right? It didn't hit like the normal release schedule. So I was like, either something happened to it, maybe something COVID related in terms of production schedules, or they were like, I don't know if we're going to make it. Well, might as well make some, so like, I felt like I feel like it's a shoe that they're constantly trying to get rid of, like with that Infinity React. But and how do you still make a Structure now? Like what are you going to say about the Nike Structure 24? It's the shoe that's 3 times more likely than the Infinity React 2 or React 1 that you're going to get an injury in. Like, how do you justify the existence of that shoe when you use that shoe as like the barometer for like, the crappy shoe that'll probably get you hurt kind of thing? Like, I don't know. So that's what's so like weird about it. But Jeff Elliott does point out that Seth's brother runs in the Structure and he's fat and fit. So I was surprised. Yeah. It's not like he's another person that's just like, these guys know what they're doing. They don't seem to need the stability shoe. So why do they like this? I don't know. All right. Jasper Mosley says, I am in high school track running around 30 miles a week, mostly long moderates. What should be my next shoe? I have gone through 2 pairs of Nike Pegasus, and I think I want to switch. Something that's all purpose and speedy. I guess it depends on kind of like what your distance is, and so what else you might need that for. But if you're running 30 miles a week and mostly long moderates, I'm guessing that you're probably like a middle distance guy, maybe a miler. So I would say, one thing that you might like a lot would be the Hyperion Tempo or the Boston 9. Those would be 2. SL20 is also going to be a really good choice, I think, for you. because I have a feeling that you're going to be going a lot faster than kind of like most people when they think about like a daily trainer. Um, and so you're gonna have some more speed, and you're gonna want something more in the speed shoe category than the Pegasus. Although the Peg 37 was, in my mind, a borderline speed shoe than a daily trainer, but it was like a speed shoe with daily trainer durability in it. If I want to get real specific, but yeah, so I would look at some of those. Adam Steve says, I think Spencer, Athlete Special, also wears stability models, both when he was in college and now with Brooks. Does he really? I didn't know that. I mean, I guess you know, usually I feel like he only brings the camera on the track days, and so I see him mostly in the Hyperion Elite 2. That's that, and like sometimes he's in spikes, and so like those are the ones that I've kind of seen him in a lot lately. I guess I haven't really seen what he's in on like a long run. I mean, he's been in he's made a couple of videos when he's doing long runs, but I'm trying to think. That's interesting. Bert says, the Nike Air Structure 22 changed my life. My ankles hurt like hell when I was running 10 miles without stability shoes. I shaved a minute off my half marathon pace in 1 week. Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. See, I mean, I do think that there's some people that definitely benefit from them, but it's kind of like, I think that was the trend before minimalist shoes, is that everyone was like, oh, you need a stability shoe. You probably look at those ankles. You probably need a stability shoe. So like that was like the big thing that everyone got pushed towards. But yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Orrin McGowan says, could overpronation cause knee issues? I think it can, but I also think that I don't want to misquote what like the body of literature is in terms of studies on it. So I won't say, but my gut is that like it can, but not necessarily is my understanding of things. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says for Gwen at the race last night, she was in 5th place, but only 3 seconds back, and it was great to hear Ali O commentating the race. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That was like a very weird event. So like, I don't know if you guys didn't watch like the last 2 weeks kind of like live YouTube track meets. There was the one by Sidious Mag down and Trials of Miles down in Austin 2 weekends ago, or I guess last week. And yesterday there was Sound Running had their track meet that they streamed on YouTube. And it was 2 very different like streamed on YouTube events. Both were very well done overall. But the Trial of Miles one was like, if you could put people like you knew or that liked running like you like running in all the positions of like commentator, post-race interviewer, you know, like and that's what it was like. So it was like, oh, I know all these people. I follow them on Twitter, or I listen to their podcasts, or I watch them on YouTube. And so like it was like a weird reunion. And then but it was like very professionally done. I was super amazed by the production quality. And then last night's was the cameras were great, camera work was great, the audio and video feeds, everything was like technically proficient, but there was definitely a YouTube feel to it. So it was very different, and I think like the epitome of it is the Ali Ostrander commentating the 5K, the women's 5K. I mean, she did a fantastic job, but I mean, she's like kind of like yeah, you know, she's so sarcastic. I don't think she can do anything like 100% seriously. Sorry. And so it was very funny. But the other thing that was really weird about the event last night is that they were encouraging people to donate by super chat, because, and here's what the arrangement was. So they had some sponsors for the events. I think almost there was like 6 events. I think almost all of them were sponsored by some sort of corporate sponsor. And then they were also telling people in the chat, like, hey, drop in some cash on the super chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to pool all the money that's been given in the super chat and divide it winner take all for each event. And so I was like, that's really strange. So we're like crowdfunding the purse. It was like very, very weird. I just thought it was kind of strange. Very strange way to do it. But, Rabbit, the apparel company, put some money in on it. And Mario Frioli put some money in on it as well. I think Picky Bars put some money in on it. And trying to think who else did I see that was in there that put some money down that I was like, yeah, that's nice. Good job, guys. But in the chat, I also saw Dr. Josh was in there. Is he here today? I didn't see him yet, but he was in the chat. He was pretty lively, and Ben Barrows was in there too. So it was pretty cool to hang out. Although the fun of like YouTube chat, I think that's probably the last time I'm gonna really hang out in the chat in a YouTube live stream track meet, just because that community is very different from this thing that we've got going on here, and it just gets very tiring. Yeah, I spent a lot of time just blocking people. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna block that. I'm gonna block that. I spent more time blocking people than I did like enjoying the chat or the races. So it got pretty annoying pretty quick. Roberto Davila says Kofuzi and Dr. Josh is a play-by-play and color commentator. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, here, there. Speaking of Dr. Josh, here he is. He says, yeah, and I'm sure after YouTube takes the cut. Yeah. That's the other thing that I felt was kind of like weird about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I know enough about track to do any sort of color commentary on it, except for I could say like I would be really good at providing like here's what regular people do, or just like to put it in terms of like regular people. So I could be like, all right, they're coming through at the 1500 at like 340 today. All right, just so everyone else knows at home, most of the people that are watching this would have gotten lapped in like in a not even 4-lap race. So just to keep that in perspective, and I'm talking about people that are in really good shape, normal people. So like I could probably do that. That's what I'd be good at. Like that joke. People always attribute it to Bill Murray, but I don't think it was a Bill Murray joke, saying that like at the Olympics for swimming, they should reserve one lane for like a normal, but someone who knows how to swim, but is not like an Olympian, just so that we get a sense for how good all these athletes are. So, I mean, I'd be good at providing like the color commentary version of that. Jasper Mosley says, do you think it's worth the $100 off that you get from the OG Hyperion Elite? No. I would be willing to pay $0 for the OG Hyperion Elite. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you're a 10K runner, maybe if you're a 5K runner, maybe it's okay. But other than that, what it's intended for, marathon racing, I don't think it's any good at marathon racing. And it says, Ali Ostrander is quite a character. Hope her injury heals soon. Yeah, it's a bummer. She has, what is it? It wasn't stress fractures, stress reactions. So like, I think basically someplace in between, something in between like shin splints and stress fracture, right? Is that what it is? I'm not really sure. Yeah. Sorry. Josh says, yeah, last night chat was horrible. You know what I do is anyone that says, if someone says the word beta or someone says the word Westfly, instant block. That's just like a given. That's an easy way. I mean, you'll get 90% of the blocks you need to block if you just look for those words. And then if someone kind of like makes fun of Tin Man Elite, Tin Betas is like the favorite one that they like to use. That's another one, just instant block. Because it's just like, you know what? I can kind of like maybe pick on that person, but it's not fair to pick on like a 12-year-old. So I'm not going to do that. So that was my approach for the evening. And I felt like it worked pretty good. Because then after a while later on, then like, I don't know what people were saying, but then people were responding to them. And so like, I could tell when people were saying something particularly annoying. So it was kind of amusing. I'm like, I didn't even see what that was. So cool. Mark Salzman asks, do you download podcasts or music and upload it and play it on your watch? What can I use instead of my phone? Thanks. I use my Apple Watch, and then the Apple Watch, I believe you can download when you're like at home and have Wi-Fi. If you have just the Wi-Fi watch, you can download podcasts to the device and then listen to them. Same thing with audiobooks, I believe, and then listen to them while you're out on the run. I have cellular on my Apple Watch, so I can, pick whatever I want, kind of. There's some limitations to it. It's not great, but it's as flexible, almost as flexible as I ever need it to be. So that's how I listen to everything on the run. Bert says, Kofuzi, I did the half marathon today. And the Path Project Kofuzi shirt that had just arrived. Awesome. Perfect for the weather today. Had a base layer underneath. Awesome. Well, I'm honored that you would wear that for your half marathon today. Thanks. Very cool. Oh, and Jeff Light says he wore his shirt for his half marathon today too. Awesome. Very cool. Or McGowan says, hard to imagine, but do you ever get any hate comments or anything on YouTube? I do. And lately, they happen whenever like mask wearing or runners versus pedestrians comes up in the news again. Like when Pierce Morgan talks about it. Then I'll usually get like a little burst of them. And then before that, like was anytime that there was a protest, like a Black Lives Matter protest, then I would get like a little spike in them. And then, you know, in the before times, it would be like anytime like I reviewed another Nike product, then there would be like a spike of them, you know, a little mini spike. So like that's when like kind of things would happen a little bit. So yeah, every once in a while I get it. And then I every once in a while, and it comes and goes in spurts. I'll get someone that's like very obsessed, and just rants about stuff. And I'm like the sucker that responded to them. And now they're like, well, this is my guy. I'm going to talk about him or at him, even though like I'm not involved. So every once in a while, just like from being, I guess, on YouTube, you just catch the attention of some people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's for the most part, it's fantastic. I feel like though that like I'm very happy that the people that were like in, let's say as a euphemism, that were in the chat last night for the sound running track meet. I'm not showing up in their algorithm, like in their YouTube feeds, and I think I'm fine with that. I'm never gonna be, you know, suitable for all audiences, I guess. And so I'm very happy to have a niche, because this niche is awesome. You guys are awesome. So yeah. Has anyone seen Sarah? Is Sarah here? How's she doing? I know she said she got into that bike accident yesterday. Yeah. And Martha says, I haven't seen any thumbs down on the live stream in a while. There was someone trolling for a while that gave one every day. Yeah. That tends to happen. You know, there's something like that where like I've offended someone, and so they're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sign up for notifications, and as soon as there's a notification, I'm going to interact with it. And I'm like, an immediate thumbs down is almost as good as an immediate thumbs up, I think, as far as the algorithm is concerned, as long as like the ratio isn't like really out of whack. So like any one person, even if they have like 100 accounts, you know, and they want to log out and log into all those different accounts, like it's not going to make a negative impact. So I just think it's very funny that people want to do that. Because if you're going to give a thumbs down because you don't like me or you don't like the content, you know, you should. I mean, it's very likely that if you give a reason why you're unhappy with the content, that I will respond to it and maybe even adapt the content to it. I mean, there's some like, you know, so like I'm trying to like make sure little things like when I report weights of shoes in ounces, I always forget the metric conversion. So I'm trying to work on that, you know, that kind of thing. So like when there's things like that, I try to, you know, I try to correct it, you know, but you know, some people just want like, I don't know if that's what makes them feel good. I'm glad that I could give them that pleasure for the day, I guess. All right. Yeah, Leona says, Shannon, so proud of it. So proud. So proud of you. Really crushed the ultra. Hopefully you got a well-deserved cowbell. You know, where is Shannon here today? There you are, Shannon. Shannon, tell us how did the ultra go? Tell me more about that. Yeah, we got to get you a cowbell. Awesome. Oh, here we go. Shannon says, she wasn't talking to me, but I'm going to pretend you were. She says to Leona, she says, thanks so much. You could have done this. So many people in here could have. We should do a live stream meetup and do a backyard ultra for fun. I don't know about a backyard ultra. But yeah, I definitely do want to get together and be in a race with a lot of you guys. So like, cause like I've been, like I saw the Woodlands Marathon, Ben Johnson went down there. Thomas went down there. Robbie went. It seemed like everyone was down there. Michael Krychek was down there too. Megan was there. Megan had a great day. Fantastic day. So like, I was like, oh, Major Foam. I was like, oh man. I'm like, they didn't ask me to go. I wouldn't have gone anyway, but I've got major FOMO because I feel like, not fear of, I feel like I missed out. I did miss out. So, hopefully soon. We'll see. All right. Shannon says, Kofuzi, that was summoners can do one lap and drop, do a bonfire and chill. Oh, that can go on while the crazy's going for days. Oh, now that sounds fun. Like a big just running weekend kind of thing. Now that Backyard Ultra makes a lot more sense now. Sounds good. That sounds like a ton of fun. I want to do that. Just kind of like hop in. Like there's just constantly like a swirl of people running around and just like get up and hop in whenever you feel like it. Funny. I think I would like that. Oh yeah. I did give the cowbell on Friday. That's what I thought. Okay. I didn't think I forgot, but I wanted to make sure. Awesome. All right. Scotty B's going to go for a walk with the fam. Grab that remaining spring sun. Yeah. So funny story today. My daughter, so my younger daughter, she had this giant, like it was like a hair pretty thing, like a thing with a big flower on it. It was like this big, like the size of her head. And she wanted me to put her hair in a ponytail, so I did. And then we were going to go to the park, but she couldn't put her winter hat on over this giant flower thing. So like as we were leaving, we're always in a rush. And so like I just threw it in the bottom of the stroller. And I think however I threw it, it ended up falling out somewhere between here and the playground. And she was really upset about it. And so like for like the next 3 or 4 days, she's like, Daddy, we have to go back to that park we went to on that day. We call it the Blue Park. She's like, Daddy, we got to go to the Blue Park. I'm like, that's a little far for today. I won't have time, or like, because sometimes we go during my daughter's, like my older daughter's school lunch break. And so like, we don't have time to go that far because by the time we get there, we'd have to just turn around and walk back. And so like today, Sunday, she's like, Daddy, today, can we please go to the Blue Park? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Because I know they like that one. And she's like, because I want to look for my hair pretty. And I'm like, oh, we talked about this for the last 4 days. It's gone. It's no, like even if someone saw it, they probably like put it somewhere, or maybe someone might have thrown it away. Maybe they thought it was litter on accident. Maybe they were mistaken, so we're trying to explain it to her, but she's like, I want to go. So we went there today. And then after that, we were going to go to a different playground to play afterwards. After we looked at this one playground, we go to the other playground and play, me and my 2 daughters. And then my wife is going to go for a walk. And so she's been trying to get some more exercise. She's been doing this like charity walk thing, and it's like a competition with her mom and one of her sisters. So she's been trying to get her miles in. And so I've been trying to like make sure that I make it really easy for my wife to do that. I'm like, like you're not invited to the playground on Sunday, and I did the same thing yesterday. You're not invited. You got to go do your thing. So because I want her to be able to enjoy that time. But today, my older daughter was like, I really want to go on a walk with mom. And I was like, no, because that's mom's time. This is not your time. You can play with me and your sister at the playground, but you cannot go for the walk with mom. But she was like, kept at it. I even sent my wife out like ahead. I'm like, you just go for your walk, and then, we'll go to the playground and we'll see you at home. So my wife went ahead, and then we started walking back home or to the other park. And my wife happened to have gone in the same direction. And so my daughter could see my wife way far ahead. So she ran probably like a good 1/4 mile to catch up to her. And then they like waited for us as we caught up to them, me and the baby walking up with the stroller. And when we caught up, they were like, she's like, I want to go with mom. And I looked at my wife. I'm like, are you sure you want to take her? And I think she kind of did. I think they wanted to have like a mother-daughter moment kind of thing. And I was like, I think mommy's going real far today, like 4 or 5 miles for her walk. And my daughter is like, I'm a city kid. I could do it. So they left. And then I played with my younger daughter at the playground. We came home, we had lunch, we hung out, that kind of thing. And then eventually the girls came home. And my daughter since then has basically just been like a puddle of like whining since then, because the 4 or 5 miles was way further than she could handle for today. And my wife was like, yeah, we had to stop like every park bench that was available. We stopped and rested, and it just took them a really long time to get back. And I just love it when my kids are tired. Because I don't know, I just find it so amusing. Maybe that wasn't that was a lot of work. Thanks guys for following along for that story. I don't know that was that funny, but my daughter now really regrets going along for the walk, and she wanted to get a family walk in, or at least a walk with my wife and then with her mom, and so that just made me think of that. She really regrets it now. I was like, hey, a lot of times for the live stream they'll go do something like either play a board game or maybe go for a walk. And I was like, hey, do you want to go for a walk during the live stream with mommy? And she's like, no. She's like, just give me lemonade and cookies. That's what she wants, cookies and lemonades. She just wants to carb back up, I guess. So I've been just teasing her all afternoon. I'm like, you always need a nap after you go for a run, because she always teases me that I always want to have a nap after a run. So that's what's been going on in the house here. All right. Everybody loves when kids are tired. LOL. Yeah, we sure do. Elena says she has good taste. Yeah, she always, and even before she realized she wanted lemonade, when she first got home, she's like, "Give me something sweet to eat." And she like did one of those things like when like preteens are like indignant about something and they do like a face plant into the bed or into the couch. She did that. I was like, I need something sweet. And I was like, I was just laughing at her the whole time. So I really enjoyed it. And when it says kids and puppies should all get tired. Oh yeah. Yeah. And Ben White says it sounds like kids basically carb load until they're adults. A lot of kids do. A lot of kids definitely do. And I feel like it's a source of a lot of behavioral issues. But yeah, and my kids probably eat a little bit more sweets than they should. But yeah, today they're particularly wanting some of the sweets. So it's been fun. All right. Well, I think that that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. Yeah, I had a really good time talking with you guys today. And yeah, hopefully you guys have the rest of your Sunday is a good one. Or if you guys are already in Monday, hopefully you're having a good start to the week already. Tomorrow we'll do Monday mukbang. So I got another snack that it's been in my closet. I've been wanting to eat it. I've had it in there for like a week, and I've been like, oh, I want to eat that. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to wait. So I got that first taste on the Monday mukbang. So that'll be tomorrow. I'm really excited about it. And we'll have another video. We're still going to have a video today. That video that I was uploading at the beginning of the live stream, I'm going to go back and upload it now. So hopefully that'll be up in like the next half hour or so. So we'll have like 2 videos real quick. So we'll have the Ultra Lone Peak 5 video coming up in like hopefully within like an hour. And then we'll do another kind of like workout recap. I'll probably talk a little bit more about the Stride Foot Pod stuff. We'll do that one for tomorrow too. So lots of videos coming up in the next couple of days, or at least the same number, but it's going to be really condensed, or at least it'll feel that way. All right. That's a lot of rambling for today. Thanks for following along. In the meantime, until the next time I see you, be safe out there, everybody.